Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Today we are taking a look at my 2022 first-round NFL mock draft. Post Deebo Samuel news that he wants to trade. I have him being traded Thursday night, draft night, or potentially before that, but he is cooked into one of my trades here. Taking a look at my picks that I got. Again, in the comment section, let me know what picks you don't like. This is what I would personally do for a lot of these teams. So if you got a problem with it, let me know in the comment section. Talk some ball, as you know I like to do. And again, if you guys like the content, you're new here, go like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're pumping out a lot of mock drafts. And as we get into the summer, we're taking a look at a lot of post-draft grades, looking at some college football prospects for the 2023 NFL draft season. We got a lot planned, so I hope you guys like the content. If you do, again, like, subscribe. Very much appreciated for my brother and I. Let's get into the mock. Aidan Hutchinson, number one. Again, this is chalky. Again, you guys know I like Aidan Hutchinson. He is my guy. I think from a pure tape standpoint, he was the best player in college football. Number two, Kayvon Thibodeaux, going to the Detroit Lions. If you can't get Aidan Hutchinson, I think you have to get Kayvon Thibodeaux. I'm more of a, like, if the Detroit Lions, if there was a more market for trading out of this pick, I think I would try to. But since there's no, like, real phenom in this class, especially at the quarterback position, I don't think there's much trade value for that spot. So I think you're taking a guy that was dominant for really 3 years since he was a freshman in college, in Kayvon Thibodeaux. Houston Texans, I'm kind of going through this because we got a couple of guys I really want to talk about. Ikem Ekwonu going pick 3 to the Houston Texans. I like Charles Cross as my number one prospect at the tackle position. However, if you're going to have Laremy Tunsil stay at left tackle, I really do like the fact that Ikem Ekwonu can play right tackle. I'm comfortable with him there. I know Evan Neal's also played it before, but I think Ikem Ekwonu makes a lot of sense at that right tackle spot. And I think he might have the highest ceiling out of all of them, and the pure power that he possesses in the run game. I know that the Texans are really going to want to try to get that running game going because it was abysmal last year. Pick 4, Kyle Hamilton. This one's I want the Jets fans to let me know what they think, or just any fans. What do y'all think about Kyle Hamilton as a prospect? Because I still like him. You guys know I still like him. When you watch the film, I never thought, oh, he doesn't seem fast enough to make it work at the NFL. And yeah, he ran a poor 40-yard dash, but at the combine looked like he just didn't know how to run a 40. But the dude flashes the athleticism, the range on the football field and on the film. I think he can do a lot. And you look at PFF has a nice little – you can take a look at where he's lined up. I mean, he lines up all over the place in 2021. 227 snaps in the slot, 114 as that deep safety, in the box, 87. I think he really excels in the box. Like, this dude's really versatile, and in an era where you're trying to get as many athletes on the field on defense and still stop the run, I think Kyle Hamilton's a serious asset. Evan Neal, pick 5. Again, this is a right tackle situation where Evan Neal's a great prospect. I think he can play left, but you got Andrew Thomas already at left tackle. So you're taking Evan Neal as just a road grader right tackle. He still has a little work to do with the balance, but he's going to be a good guy. And then Charles Cross follows him again. Charles Cross is my number one overall tackle, which I know a lot of you guys disagree with, and I love talking about it in the comment section. But Charles Cross's feet, his athleticism, his ability to mirror pass rushes, use his hands, has a strong anchor, which he kind of worked on his 3 years at Mississippi State. He's just the best pass protector, pure pass protector in the game. And I think he doesn't give enough credit for being good in the run game. He just didn't do it. He just didn't put it on film because Mississippi State and that air raid Mike Leach offense didn't ask him to really get downhill and block in the run game. I think he can do it. I like him as that pure left tackle for Carolina, that position that's just absolutely eluded their team for a while. And Charles Cross, man, I just really, really like that prospect. Jermaine Johnson, which PFF moved even farther down their big board rankings to 32, goes 7 to the Giants. I think this one makes a lot of sense too. You guys know Jermaine Johnson is one of our guys. Just dominant in the run game. Really a developed pass rusher. Yeah, he's old, but you can see that technique that he's worked on at Georgia and at Florida State, even from JUCO. This dude's a good athlete. He's really technically sound, and he's just a very solid player who I think is going to be very solid at the next level. Garrett Wilson, I think they just need to take wide receiver 1. Garrett Wilson's my wide receiver 1. You got to take him because that wide receiver room is garbage. Don't overthink it. Travon Walker going to the Texans at 9. They trade up a little bit. I think Seattle with the tackles not on the board anymore. I think they're going to want to trade up or maybe trade down to get some more picks. And then the Texans are going to trade up to get Travon Walker. They ended up passing on. They didn't get Aidan Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux with those top 2 picks. I think they really want an edge. I think Travon Walker really fits what Lovie Smith wants to do on defense. And Travon Walker is my edge 4. I get it, but I don't hate him. I just think you haven't seen enough of the production to justify picking him in the top 3, which I think a lot of people, he probably will go top 3. I just don't agree with it. But you can't ignore the 35-inch arms, 270-pound body, running a 4.51. I mean, he is a freak. He is a freak. You just didn't see it on the field as much as you would have liked. So you can still bet on the traits at 9. I think the Houston Texans don't have a problem kind of trading up a couple spots and getting a guy who could be one of the best in the game. And then here we go. I have Deebo Samuel going to the New York Jets, and the Jets will give their 10th overall pick and an early second-round pick. That was accepted to the system. I don't know what the trade value is for Deebo, but here's my take on the situation. Don't keep a disgruntled player who's not going to play for you. It's never worked out. Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh. I can't think of too many other options. Deshaun Watson, I mean, just like sat and just it pretty much postponed the Houston Texans rebuild the whole year. It's not worth doing. If he doesn't want to play for you, go and trade him. And at the end of the day, he's got one more year, and he's going to be asking for so much money. You can trade up and go get a stud cornerback and Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I think that'd be a good move. And you get another pick in the early second. And keep in mind, the 49ers don't have a pick till 61 this draft. So getting a lot of draft capital in drafts you don't have much in, I think makes sense. And at the end of the day, you hate to see Deebo go as a 49ers fan. And maybe the thing is you try to resolve the situation as opposed to just trade him. But if he wants to go out, if he wants to leave, and I don't, quite frankly, I don't blame him. He's a stud wide receiver being used as a running back. Don't keep him on the field. Don't keep him in the organization and just piss him off. Like, just go get your trade value out of him. Again, you're turning a guy who was a second-round pick, I believe, for the 49ers a couple of years ago, turning him into a top 10 pick and an early second-round pick. I think that's worth it. The Commanders go get Jameson Williams, who's actually not my wide receiver too. Chris Olave is, but I think it really fits what the Redskins are trying to do, especially with Carson Wentz. Push the ball downfield. The NFL is super high on Jameson Williams. Again, at the end of the day, it's game-breaking speed paired with production. Before this, you saw a lot of game-breaking speed guys, but didn't have elite production like Jameson Williams did. I think Jameson Williams' ability to kind of polish his routes and win underneath is also there on film, which I didn't give him enough credit for early on in the process. I like this pick. Again, speed kills in the NFL. Go get the speeds there. Derek Stingley falls to the Vikings. This is the perfect scenario. They want Jermaine Johnson. They want Travon Walker. They want Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner to fall to them at 12. I think one of them probably will, especially with how loaded the tackle class is. And there probably will be a quarterback going early. I just didn't want to throw in a quarterback. I feel like it's just quarterback roulette at some point. I don't like any of the quarterbacks. I'm just going to focus on the prospects I do like. Derek Stingley to the Vikings, that would be a great pick. Now, this is the one unfortunate part. Seattle's kind of left holding the bag. I think they trade back with the idea that they'll be able to get Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley. They end up not, and they have to settle with Trent McDuffie, who I think is pretty solidly that cornerback 3 on my big board. The film's unreal. He tested well. That was kind of the big question mark. The one question mark you still have is, was he really facing the elite competition in the Pac-12? It's easy to put on. I could put on good film playing Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown from Oregon, he stinks. Just kidding. I'm not a very good athlete. I couldn't do it. George Karlaftis to the Baltimore Ravens. This one makes a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons. Kind of fits what the Baltimore Ravens want to do. George Karlaftis is kind of unfairly falling down on boards. And it's not even because he's not as good of a player as people thought he was. It's not him getting knocked down because there's like some sort of injuries or the film wasn't as good as people thought. It's just Travon Walker and Jermaine Johnson have jumped him. He was the third edge off the board to start the process back in January. Now he's edge 5. Pushes him down the board a little bit, but he's still a very good player. At 14, I think that's a pretty good value pick for the Baltimore Ravens. And then you could have had him go Jordan Davis. You could really reverse these picks. The Eagles go get Jordan Davis. Again, a guy that I wasn't high on early, but at the end of the day, if you have a guy that can significantly – he's a guy like Kyle Hamilton who might not light it, He might not light it up on the stat sheet, although Kyle Hamilton was pretty good on the stat sheet. But he allows you to play those two back safeties. You don't have to load the box on 1st and 10 to stop the run. He kind of allows you to play a little lighter box and really be able to stop the run because that's going to work at the next level. Now, the question is, are you using a top 15 pick on a defensive lineman that can't really rush the passer? I'm thinking you can teach that kid how to rush the passer. He's a freak athlete. You saw that at the combine. You get his conditioning in shape a little bit. You get his conditioning in check, I should say, a little bit. The NFL game's not nearly as fast as colleges. People aren't going to just run a fast offense to tire Jordan Davis out like they did when he was at Georgia. I think his game's going to translate quite nicely to the NFL. Chris Olave is 16. I like this fit a lot. Him, Mike Thomas. If you get a healthy Mike Thomas, a Chris Olave, and an Alvin Kamara who's healthy in the backfield, like this offense can score points, and this Saints defense is very good. Like I think this team can compete for a playoff spot and play a Super Bowl with that offense. Now, Jameis Winston, you gotta hope takes the next step, kind of limits the turnovers, which I think he was on track to have a pretty good season with the Saints before the injury. I think he learned a little bit from Drew Brees that one year he rode the pine. I do kind of like giving Jameis Winston like those weapons. And then Bernie Raimann, 17, not going Trevor Penning. Y'all know how I feel about Trevor Penning. Take Bernie Raimann. I think he'll be able to be a solid right tackle. And you have Rashawn Slater, Bernie Raimann. There might be some growing pains, and he'll take his lumps maybe the first 6 weeks of the season. But this dude, his growth and how fast he's getting better at that position, keep in mind he's playing tight end 2 years ago, is incredible. I think he's going to adjust quite quickly to the NFL level. Again, you still got to fill out the frame, work on that technique a little bit. But the trend that he's going on is just incredible. He's a very, very good athlete. I think he's going to fit in quite nicely to that right tackle spot for the Chargers. Now, Drake London, a guy that I'm not very high on. The Packers have to trade up. And again, you're going to see, I think the Packers, if they want to secure one of those top 5 receivers, they're going to have to make a move inside the top 20. You take a look at some of these teams. The Eagles certainly could be taking one. I think the Falcons will probably take one at 8. The Eagles, the Saints, twice. The Steelers and the New England Patriots all could be gunning for a wide receiver, which leaves you, if you're picking at 22, kind of holding an empty bag. I don't hate Jahan Dotson there, but I think you want to go get a guy like Drake London. They're going to trade up a couple spots, give up a later day 2 pick to go get an alpha in Drake London. Devonte Wyatt, kind of the best player available. There wasn't a fit that I saw like, oh, this guy should definitely go to the Saints. So I ended up taking Devonte Wyatt, who's like Jordan Davis. Very good in the run game, but I think he adds a little bit more to the pass rush. And you saw that on film. His first step for being 320 pounds is incredible. I like that player a lot. He's going to go 19 to the Saints. And then Malik Willis, the first quarterback taken. I don't see the Steelers. I've seen a lot of mocks having the Steelers trade out for Malik Willis. He might not fall to the Steelers at 20, but I really don't think there's any quarterback worth trading any sort of significant capital to get into the top 10 and take one of these quarterbacks. So the Steelers sit back. Quarterbacks fell in my mock just because I don't really like them. They go get Malik Willis. I think Mike Tomlin just doesn't want to see another statue in the pocket like the last couple of years Ben Roethlisberger was. Devin Lloyd, I don't need to spend much time on this. You've seen this in a lot of mocks. I think they could also be in the running for receiver, kind of like a Jahan Dotson. That being said, Devin Lloyd is such a solid football player that fits a lot of what the Patriots want to do. They like having linebackers who can blitz, especially off the edge. Devin Lloyd has really good ball skills, kind of a former safety coming into Utah. I like a lot of what I saw about Devin Lloyd's game. I do like Nakobe Dean more, but I think Devin Lloyd probably is going to be a better fit with the longer length and bigger frame than Nakobe Dean. So I think we're going to go get Devin Lloyd at 21. Kaiir Elam, the second cornerback off the board. Or not the second, fourth cornerback off the board. The Eagles trade back and still able to get a day 1 started cornerback. Gotta like that if you're an Eagles fan. You get another day 2 pick as well. You need to figure out that other cornerback spot across with Darius Slay. I personally like Kaiir Elam a little bit more than Andrew Booth, but again, I'm not complaining if you decide to go Andrew Booth here. I think Kaiir Elam just has a little bit better of a length, physicality than Andrew Booth did. And quite frankly, Andrew Booth had a couple games where he was really getting picked on, which is not really what you want to see in a first-round cornerback. He does have really good traits. He's a smooth mover. I do like Andrew Booth a lot as well, but we're going Kaiir Elam there at 22. Tyler Linderbaum, the Iowa center. Wherever he goes, if it's not inside the top 10, even if it's in the top 10, he's going to be a steal because he's going to be one of the best centers in the league. Look at what Creed Humphrey did. Fell all the way to the end of the second round. One of the best centers in the league. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be that, but better. Whoever Tyler Linderbaum, and he's going to fall. Like, people aren't going to – he's not going to be a top 20 pick, which I vehemently disagree with. But he's going to be a damn good football player wherever he goes. And then I have Tyler Smith, and we run a lot of Dallas Cowboy mock drafts, which you guys have really enjoyed. Taking Zion Johnson, we're taking Kenny Green. I think at some point we've taken some linebackers. The more I've studied Tyler Smith, like, yes, he needs work. He's not going to be a tackle right away. The first couple years, he'll be a guard. This dude's power and the youth that he has and how powerful, it's just a special combination. I don't know what Tulsa was doing, but both him and Chris Ball at tackle, like, they just looked really uncomfortable. I don't think they were particularly coached that particularly well. But Tyler Smith, he gets some coaching. He's going to be a great guard who's very powerful. You can get downhill with him. But I think he also has this capability, and that's why I'm giving him the nod over Zion Johnson and Kenny Green. I think Tyler Smith, I can project him at tackle a little bit more comfortably than I can a Zion Johnson or Kenny Green or even a Trevor Penning, who's 24 years old and still has massive flaws in his game. And he's a guy that's going from the FCS all the way up to the NFL. And when he played those Power 5 conferences like Iowa State, didn't look that good. So we're going Tyler Smith. Andrew Booth, the Bills have to take whether it's Kaiir Elam or Andrew Booth at 25. That's who you're going to see me taking with the Bills. Here's a guy, he's a Rock Boy favorite, Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. He's good. He's really good. He was more of a guy that I just wanted to get in the first round because I wanted to talk about him a little bit. In terms of pure film, he was one of the best defensive ends, edge guys in the Big Ten and in the country. I mean, maybe Aidan Hutchinson was the only guy. Jermaine Johnson and Aidan Hutchinson were the only two guys who clearly had better film than Arnold Ebiketie. And Arnold Ebiketie probably comes in at number 3. Of course, Travon Walker. Of course, Kayvon Thibodeaux, kind of with the traits. You might take him above him. But Arnold Ebiketie doesn't have bad traits at all. He's a little undersized at 250. I think he had like 18 and a half tackles for a loss, something crazy tackles for a loss, and I think 10 and a half sacks. Like, this dude produced was really, really good for Penn State. I think he's one of the more slept on prospects in this first round, top 40 group of players. 27, Zion Johnson. If he's there at 27, the Bucs are going to pounce on him. Week 1, the Bucs are interested in getting one guy who can be a week 1 starter at that interior line. Zion Johnson's that guy. Jahan Dotson going to 28. So they went up and got Drake London. And I was thinking if they double up, it's got to be Jahan Dotson or Sky Moore. I love Jahan Dotson. The only knock on this kid is that he's a little bit undersized. He's got great ball skills. He creates separation extremely well. The vertical, he can press vertically really well with great speed and ball tracking. He checks all the boxes besides the height. Not the height, the size. I'm a huge fan of Jahan Dotson. George Pickens going 29 to the Chiefs. We're actually going to cover up that second round because we're going to do another video on our second round picks just because we haven't really talked about those guys from like 32 to 90 that we're going to try to cover. But George Pickens, a guy that really is the most true X receiver in terms of being able to play the boundary, go up and get the football. He's special. He would have been a lock to go first round if he didn't get hurt. He comes back seemingly pretty soundly from the injury. I think the Chiefs are going to go get him. And then it could be Christian Watson as well, just because I know Andy Reid's going to love the speed. Baxton Hill, pick 30. He seems to be a guy that is not really sure where he'll go. He could go inside the top 20. He also could fall out of the first round. I love Baxton Hill's game, the versatility. You can check this too. I mean, the Michigan played him in the slot a lot, you'll see. 500, so he's primarily playing nickelback. But you look at 2020 and 2019, he was mostly like that deep safety. He's played in the box a bunch. He's played true corner a bunch. Like, in terms of versatility, this dude has it, which really has to excite you. And he did it he played every single position at a high level, which is the best aspect of it. Travis Jones, in terms of getting a guy that's going to make you better day one, which the Bengals are in the business of doing, Travis Jones is going to be that. I think this dude's going to be a first-round pick. Again, he's a guy that we haven't talked much about. Really like Jordan Davis. I think he has a little bit – he's not as dominant against the run as Jordan Davis was in terms of just being able to take two offensive linemen and just stonewall him. But he has that lateral quickness like Jordan Davis for his size. Dominated the Senior Bowl. I'm very comfortable with him being kind of a top 32 pick. And then finally, Treylon Burks. I like some other receivers more. Kind of, I do like Sky Moore a lot. I like Christian Watson a lot, but I think Treylon Burks is going to be the pick here, just because that's what the Lions need. They need that boundary, big, physical wide receiver who can make some explosive plays. That's what Treylon Burks did at Arkansas. Yeah, I do have questions about how versatile is he? How many routes can he successfully run in the route tree? That's still to be determined. But when you can get a guy that's that big, that's that fast, has that good of ball skills, you got to go get him. He's probably going to be there at 32. I think the Lions should be sprinting in that card. That's it for our first round mock. We're going to end the video here. So give a chance to, if we just want to watch the first round, go watch the first round. We're coming out with the second and third round also. So if you guys like that, go check it out again. Thank you guys for all the support. Very, very much appreciated. If you guys like the content, go like the video. Go subscribe to the channel. We're pumping these out. We love talking ball with new people. Thank you guys for the support. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.